So, you want to create a website, but can't make up your mind about what is the best way to do so. Hire a professional web designer/developer or create a website yourself, using one of the website builders. Well, you are not alone. There are a lot of people asking themselves the same question. And that is why I decided to create this detailed video and find out once and for all in which cases you really need to hire someone and when it's just a waste of money. If you don't know me yet, my name is Igor, and on this channel I talk about website building and digital marketing, so consider subscribing to it if you're interested in such topics. Also, if you have any problems recognizing my speech, please feel free to turn on the closed captions. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I'd like to start by clarifying one crucial thing. Actually, it's not about whether you have to hire a web developer or not, it's about your needs and expectations from the future website. The thing is, if you hire a developer to build you a website, in 95% cases, they will create it on WordPress. Of course, if you haven't negotiated the usage of some other CMS or a website builder. So basically, you have three ways. Hire a web developer to build you a WordPress template, hire a designer to make you a website using a website builder, and finally, use a website builder yourself. Let's start from the very first way and figure out in which cases it's a good idea to get a WordPress website. Despite the fact I sincerely like WordPress and have been working with it for a while, it has two significant drawbacks that I just can't help but mention. First of all, it's a free and open source platform, which means if something goes wrong with your website, or you'd like to change something on it but have no clue how to do so, you either have to ask for help on forums or Facebook groups, or hire a freelancer to come to your rescue. Secondly, WordPress is a content management system, which means it was originally designed specifically for building blogs, without aiming for business or e-commerce needs. That's why using WordPress you will not be able to sell products, accept payments, build an email list and do such other things out of the box. Of course, there are a lot of WordPress plugins which are designed to add all the appropriate features, but frankly speaking, in comparison with website builders that provide all of them by default, WordPress plugins look more like crutches, rather than the full-fledged solutions. Especially considering the fact that almost every e-commerce or business WordPress plugin has either a paid version or paid extensions, without buying which you won't be able to use them properly. Needless to say that it's a pretty common case when the price of a single WordPress plugin can compare with the annual plan of a whole website builder, which is just ridiculous. So guys, if you're watching this video in order to figure out what is the best platform to launch an online store, you can just go over to the Shopify official website by following the link in the description down below, hit the like button on this video and close it, because I just solved your problem. And no, this video is not sponsored by Shopify. I sincerely think that this is one of the best choices for running an online store, due to the variety of e-commerce features and the intuitive blog editor, which allows you to customize your online store appearance without hiring anyone, even if you're a complete beginner in that field. Once we figured that out, let's assume you are going to build not an online store, but just a simple business or professional website. Is WordPress a good platform for such cases? Well, technically it is, but there are some pitfalls about which you should be aware of. First of all, unlike website builders, where the subscription plan includes hosting and the free custom domain name, in case with WordPress you have to purchase them yourself. Having a hosting and domain name will cost you about $100 for the first year, and about $200 for the second and next years, which is pretty close to most website builders' annual plans. Secondly, sooner or later, you will inevitably want to change something in your website appearance. And when it comes to WordPress, in the most cases you are required to have coding skills to be able to do so. So you either have to pay a developer each time you want to change something, or acquire coding skills, which is probably not your cup of tea if you're just a business owner who wants to have a website. Of course, there are some developers who make their WordPress templates compatible with the Elementor plugin, which allows you to customize the website appearance in a similar way as in a website builder. But again, Elementor has a premium and pretty expensive version, and from my personal point of view, its intuitiveness is still far away from the website builders. And we are moving on to the financial part. How much does it cost to hire a developer to build you a WordPress website? Well, the price ranges drastically, from ugly and ridiculous templates for $10 on Fiverr to a couple of $1,000s when it comes to digital agencies. And like I said, you have to separately pay for hosting and domain name every year, without even mentioning situations when you need to change something on your website. So I think it's safe to say that hiring a web developer to build you a WordPress website is not the best way in most cases. However, in defense of WordPress, I can say that it's out of competition when it comes to building a blog or affiliate marketing website, which is pretty obvious because it was originally designed exactly for these purposes. Okay, since we figured out that choosing a website builder instead of WordPress is more beneficial in most cases, let's try to pick the best one. First of all, you should know that all website builders can be divided into two categories: those that allow users to interact with any element on the page, and those that have a strict section structure. Both of these approaches have their own pros and cons. Let's break everything down in order. When users have an ability to move, stretch, or interact in any other way with every element on the page, it can cause a loss of website responsiveness due to the lack of user experience. A non-responsive website doesn't automatically adjust to any screen size, which can lead to inappropriate display on small screens, tablets, and mobile devices. However, such freedom to interact with every element on the page doesn't mean by itself that your site will necessarily become not responsive as a result of your actions. Firstly, such kind of situations are quite easy to avoid if you're familiar with the very basic principles of website building. And secondly, because they mostly occur only as a result of drastic changes of the default template. At the same time, these website builders allows you to create really unique websites and do not limit your creativity in any way, which from my point of view is much more important. Okay, now let's take a look at the totally different approach, when the website builder has a strict section structure and users are able only to add, delete, rearrange and slightly customize these sections. On the one hand, strict structure may cause some problems in efforts to get a truly unique website appearance, but on the other hand, it protects beginners from doing anything wrong and getting problems with their website display and responsiveness. However, all websites around the internet basically have the same set of blocks and sections, so it's not a bad thing at all not to have a completely unique design, because you are not able to reinvent the wheel anyway. So, as you can see, each of these approaches has its own strengths and weaknesses, and I think it's safe to say that the best website builder is one that takes the best of them, regardless of whether you want to create a website yourself or are going to hire a web designer for this purpose. And I'm glad to say that this website builder exists, and it's called Wix. Wix successfully combines both of these approaches and allows you to create beautiful, responsive and truly unique websites, while even being a complete beginner and without hiring anyone, due to the huge base of ready-made templates, intuitive and clean editor, and almost unlimited customization possibilities. Using this powerful platform, you can build a website of any complexity and for any purpose, whether it's going to be an e-commerce or business website, online portfolio, blog or anything else. As for the price of Wix annual plans, it strongly depends on the website's purpose and required features, but it's safe to say that on average it's pretty close, or in some cases even cheaper, than the price that you will have to pay for the WordPress website hosting. And I'd like to remind you guys that using WordPress instead of Wix or any other website builder, you will not be able to create a website from scratch yourself. Moreover, most likely you will not even be able to make any changes in your website appearance after getting it from a developer. Also, I can't help but mention that Wix is probably the only website builder that provides an unlimited trial period, without even requiring you to enter the credit card details, so you can try your hand and decide if this platform suits you or not. If you're interested in getting started with Wix, you can do that by following the link in the description down below. Well, since we figured out that in most cases it will be more beneficial to use a website builder instead of WordPress, and even have chosen the best one, there is the last question that should be answered. Namely, is it worth hiring a web designer or not? Although I'm pretty sure that almost everyone can make a beautiful website using a website builder without a lot of effort, there are two typical cases when people tend to hire someone to do the job. The first one is when they simply don't have time or willingness to learn how to use a website builder and make a website themselves. And the second one, when they want to get a really unique website design in order to take their online presence to the next level. So, if your case is similar to these ones, then it definitely makes sense to hire someone. Otherwise, I do recommend at least trying your hand in website building. It's much easier than it looks at the first glance, especially considering the fact that I have a lot of free tutorials on my channel on this topic, including how to build any type of website using Wix. You can check them anytime by following the appropriate playlists link in the description down below. Now let's assume that you still want to hire a web designer. How much will it cost? Well, Wix has a huge base of certificated partners who can help you on any stage of website building, whether you want to build a website from scratch or just struggling to change the logo. The average price of hiring a web designer on Wix Marketplace is about $1,000 for a business website, and a bit more when it comes to an e-commerce website. And I think it's safe to say that these prices are relevant regardless of which specific website builder you'd like to use. Also, I can't help but mention that I'm available for hire as well, and if you're interested to work with me, you can either leave a comment under this video or contact me by my business email. To summarize, I'd like to say that website builders nowadays provide users a great and unique opportunity to create professionally looking websites without hiring anyone. Therefore, at the end of the day, the answer to the question whether it's worth hiring them directly depends on what is more valuable to you, your money or free time. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to hit the like button. And of course, consider subscribing to my channel if you're interested in website building and digital marketing. Also, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments down below. I'm always ready to help. Have a nice day and see you next time. Bye!